The Beer Brothers is a comedy podcast where two dumb babies related by blood grew up and now review beers for you, the people. You can drink along if you'd like, but maybe don't do it in your car on the way to work. Drink responsibly. At home. In the dark.
Welcome back to episode 40 of the Beer Brothers, Nashville's only and number one beer podcast. That's what it is.
Beer podcast.
Beer podcast. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed the last episode. A little bit shorter, a little bit lighter, sweeter. Who knows? It was good for us. Hopefully it was good for you.
We liked it. We like drinking.
Yeah. Today we're going to be reviewing a nice IPA and talking about Ground Hog's Day. We're going to talk about that.
Okay,
Let's
cool. Ground Hog's Day, nice.
And outside of that, I don't know. Fuck it. I'm Cody.
I'm Micah.
This is the Beer Brothers. Let's get weird. Okay. Ground Hog's Day is upon us. It is upon us. How
You got to do the beers first.
Oh, we do have to do that. The beer for the episode today is TW Pitchers Brewing. We also had a little conflict because we weren't sure if it was TW Pitchers or if it was two pitchers because on their website it says two.
Yes.
On the can it says TW.
It's technically both, I think. They might have started as TW and maybe they had already printed all of these, so they changed it. I don't know. I couldn't find.
Not sure, but it's okay. It's okay.
They're both. They pitched in college. It's the guys. Their names are Tommy and Wilson. TW2. That's
TW2 Pitchers Brewing.
On the World Wide Web internets, it's two Pitchers Brewing.
It says it was established in San Francisco, but currently today they're out of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Yeah. I wanted to find the address because I think it would be good for our listeners if you're in the state or wherever we're reviewing a beer from, that you could just go to the tap room and get one on hand and say, hey, here's where you go to get this beer that we reviewed. But I could not find it. I looked it up in Google Maps. I Googled the shit out of this thing. Can't find it. So outside of that, TW Pitchers, if y'all want to send us your address, maybe we'll make an addendum to this podcast so that we can send anyone who hears us your way. We would love to do that. Today we are trying their Tropic Plunder IPA with passion fruit and a hint of lychee. This is what their can says. It says, this tasty IPA is loaded with Citra and Mosaic hops and blended with a touch of passion fruit and lychee post-fermentation. Juicy IPA shandy, call it what you want. We call it delicious and seriously crushable. This is a 6.1% ABV. I don't have any readings on bitterness and whatnot, but with an IPA, you're going to expect some of that. So we'll just we'll get on to tasting it and see what we think of it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and say it is hazy. I can't see through the glass. It looks a little bit like a nice orange juice or a Tang. You remember Tang in a pouch? Sunny D. You remember Sunny? Yeah. No, it's not really Sunny D. Sunny D is like real thick, but this is like
there's bits of fermentation in here.
Delish. It's got some nice little morsels in it for you, but not big chunks or anything.
No, nothing too crazy. It's a little,
but I like it.
It's kind of wild. It looks speckled, like there's cinnamon in there or something.
Exactly. Taste wise, what do you think?
This is a very juicy IPA, and I mean that's really the best category I think to put it in. Especially with that almost pulpy look to the fermentation. Like if you look at the bottom of the glass, you can see a little bit of clear, and then there's like the kind of like the sediment almost kind of sitting above it.
I'm gonna give you two flavors, okay, of this: grapefruit and orange juice. Like if you took those two together, squeezed them, that's what it is.
Yes.
It's got a bitter note like grapefruit would, but the Citra hops that are in it are just so bright and so vibrant that it's orange-like.
It almost changes obviously they used passion fruit and lychee or however you say it, but they used those two fruit flavors in this, and they did say it's all natural flavors, no funny business is like part of their motto. But I do think that the citra hops kind of overtake those flavors and transition them into a different fruit. So I can agree with you that the orange juice grapefruit combo is definitely there. Like a ruby grapefruit orange juice.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever had a Greyhound?
No.
Okay.
It's like where you get on the bus and you're like sad because you're just like riding next to a neo-Nazi for 4 hours and you can't escape.
Yeah. It's a really weird fetish. But I hate it, but I love it.
He had a lot of good ideas, but they were really bad.
Yeah. I mean, I loved his passion, but I don't know if I agree with any of his.
Absolutely didn't agree with anything he was saying.
Points. Anyways.
I ruined it. A Greyhound. What is a Greyhound drink?
It's basically grapefruit juice mixed with, a lot of people do it with like vodka or gin. I've seen them done with tequila.
Okay.
It does tend to kind of have the strange bitterness that this has. Some people throw lime in it. I was never like an official bartender. I just know when people wanted them, it was usually vodka. But I will say there is something about like tequila in that kind of reminds me of this just a little bit as far as the like alcoholic drink category. So I definitely taste more of a grapefruit taste than I do passion fruit. And I definitely taste an orangey taste more than I do like lychee or whatever. So
yeah.
I do think I agree with you. Those citra hops have transitioned the flavor for sure.
So my initial take on this is that I think the hops like you said, they kind of overbear any other fruit. So like if there is passion fruit, there is lychee or lychee, whatever, how you want to say it in this, I'm not getting those. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that like passion fruit's very distinct. Like
yeah, it really
you get
is.
passion fruit and something, you're like, oh shit, this is a neat flavor. I like this. And I'm not getting that. I'm just getting orange and grapefruit. Like I'm getting the hop, citrus kind of notes that are usually driven. Yeah. And so I'm not mad about it, but I don't get
I'm not mad about it at all.
fruit.
I think it's actually really good. It is pretty crushable.
I've already drank half.
I wonder if the ABV was higher, if it would bring those flavors out more or sweeten up a little bit. I'm not really sure because usually that can happen with higher gravity beers.
So here's my take on it. You know, I know they said it was post fermentation.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
That might be why.
I think that might be a little bit of why it's not as prominent of a flavor, because if passion fruit also, I mean, if they put fruit in at the fermentation stage, then the yeast is going to work off the sugars of that.
Yeah, and it's going to get a higher
and it would have a higher ABV. It's already pretty high as it is, but the yeast is going to take on the flavors of what is in it, you know? So it's like, if it's fruit in there, whatever, it's grabbing those flavors and like, okay, this is what I am. So maybe that it's hint of passion fruit and lychee, not so much passion fruit and lychee.
Yes, definitely.
So,
all right, I think we can move on, and then we will give this our Beer Babies rating at the end.
Okay, here we go. Oh, if you could relive a day,
okay,
until you got it right,
in honor of Groundhog's Day.
Yes, we're gonna go Bill Murray Groundhog's Day. You know, like the movie, because that movie's fucking classic, man.
It's great.
What's a day that you wish you could relive, and maybe it come out the way like perfect? That was the whole thing. Groundhog's Day. He had this. It was like he was just stuck in a loop until he did everything right to get out of it.
I can't think of a day that I've currently lived that would be worth going through over and over to fix. I mean, maybe every day of my life. But
how about the day you had a homeless threesome?
Yeah. That day, no, I wouldn't change a thing. I loved every second of it. But I would maybe change a future day where I rob people or rob a bank.
You gotta get super personal on this, okay?
Ah, damn it.
You gotta have a shit day, like a day you're just like, man, this day fucking sucked. And if I could go back, I would fix it, and it would change.
Why can't you just let me rob a bank?
But because that's not what people want. They want the real. They want the real shit.
Okay, All right. I could relive a day.
I'm gonna give you a day that our dad had, that I know is a day that he probably wishes he could.
Okay.
Redo. So mom and dad are real young, right? And
It's better not get really fucking weird.
It's not gonna get weird.
Okay.
No, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun.
Sure.
I don't even know. I mean, they dated young, so it was 16, 17 years old. Dad had
14.
stacks of Mickey Mantle cards.
Dude, yes. I know exactly what
Mickey
this story
Mantle
is.
cards.
Dude,
okay?
he didn't have. It wasn't just Mickey Mantle. He had a collection of 5,000 baseball cards.
What?
5,000. I know
I
exactly
lost
what
my
you're
tooth
talking
on
about.
that.
If you listen to the last episode, Cody has a fake tooth in
lost
he can just pull out and rattle around in his mouth like a little Jolly Rancher and pop back in. You should coat that thing in some sort of sweet treat.
Some enamel.
Sugar. Anyways. So just dip it in some like sweet caramel and pop it back in. Anyways.
Caramel tooth.
Yeah, I got my caramel tooth. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, he had like 5. It wasn't just Mickey Mantle cards. They were in there. But he had a collection of 5,000 baseball cards.
And at that time, I mean,
they weren't worth anywhere near as much back then.
No, but it was the damn, like, I mean, that's what I'm saying, is he had that
It's
many
the
cards
60s.
in the 60s.
fucking
So he
60s.
had not just those, he had probably
I'm sure he had some
buku.
roots. I'm sure he had a bunch of stuff in there.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no telling what players he had in there that ended up living in like baseball Hall of Fame infamy. And yeah, he traded all of those in. Wasn't it to get enough money for mom's engagement ring? Was that right?
No, it was to take her on a date.
That's what it was. It was to have enough money to
So
take
romantic.
her out.
Yeah.
And I think he got like a couple $100 from her or something.
No,
or
I
no.
don't think he got that. I mean, it was
Or maybe it was $50.
yeah, it was like $50 because it was the 70s
Yeah.
when this happened. And so, obviously money and inflation and all that stuff. So $50 was a lot. He's like, oh shit, I got $50.
Yeah, it was either
I'm gonna take
70s
this-
or
I'm
it
gonna
was
take
either
this
early
queen
70s
out.
or late 60s. Yeah.
I need this
Yeah.
queen out for some hamburgers.
Yeah, we're gonna get some steak.
No,
with
he wasn't
$50.
getting steak. He was getting. It was probably like
Yeah, but $50 back then
It's
definitely goes
Mississippi.
way longer than it does now.
Oh yeah,
Wait, what did you say?
they were in Mississippi.
Oh,
There were
no,
no
yeah.
damn steaks. It was like
There's cow farms everywhere. You're talking about there's definitely steaks.
think of rural Mississippi in 1970.
They would
It's
go.
not like there's Studio 54 or some kind of high end bullshit around there. It was probably like a drive-in and a movie.
Yeah, so he sold all those baseball cards for enough money to take her mom out. That is like very romantic thing. He's a moron because I'm sure she wouldn't have cared.
I love you, Dad. Sorry.
Okay, she wouldn't have cared. He's never listened to this, which is probably a good thing.
Praise the Lord. Praise
Thank
be to
God.
He.
Thank Jeebus. He's an idiot because those cards, if he had held on to them and just found another way to take her out, I'm sure she would have been fine. She's not super high maintenance. She wouldn't have cared.
True.
She's a sweet, sweet lady. Brutal, but sweet.
She'll tell you what's up.
Yeah, she'll tell you what the fuck's up. He would have had those around, and our family would have never been poor because he could have sold them
Oh yeah.
and just
Yeah.
I'm sure some of those cards were worth like tens of thousands of dollars now.
How do you? Hold on. We're just gonna do a quick Google of like Mickey
Rookie
Mantle.
Mickey Mantle baseball card value?
Okay,
Put
hold
that
on.
in.
Not baseball. Baseball. Thank you.
Base and all.
Card.
Bases and all.
Value. Okay. He said. Here's the thing. He told me. He said he had like 20 or 30 of them. Because they were
Yeah.
at the time, it was like, oh, it's Mickey Mantle.
Yeah.
It'd be like
Yeah.
some high-end rookie or what's his face from the Braves right now. Like when he,
Right now?
yeah, the shortstop for the Braves. You know what I'm talking? He played at Vanderbilt.
He didn't play for the Braves.
No, I'm saying like when this guy came to the Braves in today's
Oh,
present,
yeah.
he's really good. I forget his freaking name. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Here we go.
Oh,
He had 30 of these, as he has said. The 1952 Topps 311 Mickey Mantle rookie card is valued at $92,000 right now. Yeah. Yeah, he sold all of them for, $50.
That means if he had 20, I know you said 20 to 25, 30, whatever.
Yeah.
If he had 20 of
Almost
them,
had $2 million.
he literally would have had like $1.7 million.
No, he would have had more than that. 92? He would have had about $2 million.
Yeah, but
$2 million.
Yeah, 2 million minus 18.
You get your phone with your leg.
Yeah, stupid looking.
Micah dropped his phone on the floor. Instead of just being a human and like going and get it, he like reached back like Mr. Gadget with his leg to like fork it back to him.
1.84 million.
Yeah, I mean,
like we would be millionaire. Our family would be. Well, he would be a millionaire, and maybe we could.
He would have had to hold on to it though until this point. We wouldn't have been rich back then, but he would have been like,
no, but that's how much it would have. Yes, true, but he would have to keep holding on to those cards, and then he could sell them all for a stupid amount of money.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's a day he's just like, I wish I could have just worked like a simple job somewhere and gotten $50.
Yeah, someone would have paid me for work.
Yeah, to go out.
Dad, just
what are you gonna say? I don't even know.
Just give a couple BJs out around town. I'm sure people were paying. Just
no.
So
it was the 70s, so I'm sure somebody was like,
yes.
Oh yeah,
sweet young boy. I'll pay you.
Nope, there's too many terrible jokes in this, like that are just off limits for me. Like I'm like, nope,
can't do it.
Not doing it. It's Mississippi in the 70s, and Dad probably wouldn't exist. He just
so homophobic and racist. Such a bad area of the whole world. Dad's, I feel like, trumps most anyone else's ever, because if he gets to Ground Hogs that day, that means he does get to go around trying to figure out ways to find the $50, like to find money to take mom out and keep
that,
the card.
Knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Now, obviously, he wouldn't know the future. He wouldn't know. There's no way to know those cards. Like, but if going back in time, if you could do that and not have to sell the cards.
I'm going to simplify this for you. Maybe a moment, something you could have done different. I'll give you an example of something I could have done different. Okay, so I don't think I've rehashed this story on here. If I have, just be like, no, we've already talked about this. And we'll do something else. But so my oldest child has a form of brain cancer. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And has been through chemotherapy and all sorts of stuff. And when we first, here's the thing, is a parent that has a child that's facing some kind of, life-threatening disease like that, either you buckle under it or you find the good in it, and you also find the funny moments in it. You're just like, man, this is fucked up, and hilarious all at the same time. So, in this moment, that I would love to relive, this is what has happened. Brooks is on his first several weeks of treatment. He had this whole thing of he would get treatment, and then a couple days later, his body would just be like, I'm gonna throw up. I don't know when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking vomit wherever I want to. And so there were times that we'd be at
oh, it's just a mesh hat.
Yeah, we'd be at Blue Coast Burrito, and he'd be eating, he'd be like, I don't feel good, and we just walked him out of the parking lot. He's throwing him in the parking lot as people were pulling in. I'm like, fuck it, man, that's what's going on. So we go to Chick-fil-A one morning. It's a Saturday. He's had treatment on a Thursday.
Yeah.
He's, we're just trying to whatever we're doing, not at the hospital. It's always fun. We're just trying to have fun. It's oh, Chick-fil-A. Y'all love Chick-fil-A. For some reason, kids that are going through chemo fucking love Chick-fil-A. They can't get enough.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
don't know why, but
Every
the
time
Jesus chicken is I feel healed or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're like...
something about that Jesus chicken.
They love the Jesus chicken, okay? And so we go to Chick-fil-A for breakfast, and we go through the drive-thru. We got some other things to go do, and we pull out, and we're driving off, and he's like, I think I'm going to be sick. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't feel good. I'm like, okay, hold on, just give us a second. And I'm scrambling. I don't know what to give him because I know he's gonna vomit any second. And I give him, give him
a hat.
I give him a hat, but it's a mesh hat. And I'm like, just throw up in this, and I give it to him, and of course he throws up, and it's just like spaghetti noodles.
Strainer.
Oh, dude, it was rough because he throws up in it, and it just goes into his lap, onto the seat, onto the floor, catches all the chunks, so you still have the chunk.
Oh my god!
I'm like, just throw the hat out the window. We just threw it onto another car. Let's just go. And then we had to ride for a good 15 minutes with just that smell in the car.
Oh my god, dude! I want to gag thinking about that. That's disgusting.
I know.
That's so
terrible. Bad. I don't even know what else I could have done. I think from that point on, anytime we went back to get checkups, it was like, "Oh, you got throat bags? Okay, thanks." And we would take the hospital throat bags.
That's really
and
smart.
keep them in the back of the car in case that happened again. Because that was a nightmare. That was fucking awful.
I bet. So I'm still, because I've been listening to these stories, I just keep thinking about how dumb my father is. No.
I love you, Dad. Don't. He's.
Oh,
you're not.
No, he's actually very intelligent.
He's probably the smartest man we know.
How was he supposed to know? You know, it sucks, but how is he supposed to know?
If our siblings are listening, fuck you if you tell them this. All right, so lesson for this episode is don't sell your Mickey Mantle cards.
Don't swallow your teeth.
And don't swallow your fucking teeth from the last episode.
Exactly.
So,
you know what? Mine would be.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, I got it. This is the dumbest. This is so stupid.
It's something.
But it's something. Here it is. I would go back to the 5th grade, and it was the day before the last day of school. Previous to this, I had won a speech contest, public speaking contest for the DARE program, if anybody remembers DARE. You had to write a speech.
The war on drugs.
You had to write a speech about, not doing drugs. So I wrote this speech about, all of these famous people and how these historical figures, Abe Lincoln and Martin Luther King, blah, blah, blah. And I was just mentioning about, what they probably did drugs. I'm not gonna lie. To this day, they probably did a fuck ton of drugs. They probably smoked a lot of weed and opium and all these other things.
Yeah.
Okay, but back then,
that's why they had freaking wood teeth.
Yes, back then I'm a 5th grader. I don't know these things. Okay. I wrote this great speech. I ended up winning a contest, and they wanted me to submit a final draft of that the last day of school, and they would submit it to a state competition that I would go to and give that speech for a state competition.
Okay.
And this is 5th grade. I'm fucking 10. All right. I'm hell yeah, dude. I'm good at this shit.
Super confident.
The day before I'm supposed to turn this thing in, I'm racing my friend's little brother down our hill on Rose Garden, and I am on a scooter.
Mm-hmm.
And I beat him. I beat him in the fucking race. Okay. And at the end, I think I'm a cool guy, and I'm going to do a fucking 180 spin around on this thing and turn myself around so fast. So I plant my fucking left leg on the ground, and I start to rotate like a hard turn, except for my left leg doesn't move while the rest of me does. And I tear my ACL. Just rip it apart.
I forgot you did that.
Yeah, it was bad. The hospital's he's fine. They do an x-ray. They're he's fine. He probably just sprained it. Hendersonville Hospital.
Yeah.
He's fine. He probably
I know what that's like.
Yeah, he probably just sprained it. So I try to leave the hospital. I can't put any pressure on that leg. And I'm literally hanging on to our small mother trying to walk out of the hospital. And she yells at a nurse. And she's like, "He can't put any pressure on his leg, and y'all just gonna have him walk out there with nothing." And they give me a wheelchair. Finally, get a wheelchair. They give me some crutches to take home, whatever. I don't go through any necessary therapy. I'm on the couch for a month because I can't put pressure on this fucking thing.
I don't know where I was in all this.
You're just being an idiot. I had a brace on my leg. I wore the brace for so long that my leg turned into a fucking Coke bottle when I took it off. So the top of my thigh had all the meat and muscle, and the lower part of my thigh right above the knee had no meat and muscle. And my kneecap had then moved down 2 inches.
You had a dehydrated chicken leg.
Yeah, so I had to get on a bicycle I had to get on a bike. Had to basically rehab myself. Started trying to put pressure on it, walk again, build the muscles back up.
Wow.
Had to get on a bike, ride it every fucking day around the neighborhood, up the hills to rebuild the muscles in my leg. I did it all by myself. No instruction, just fucking did it. I would definitely relive that day, and I would not turn around that goddamn scooter. I would turn in that fucking speech, and who knows, I might be president in 5 years if that was the case.
That's possible.
Fucking war on drugs, baby. But then, then I probably wouldn't be doing this podcast. That's worth it.
Okay.
Okay. So that would be my thing. I would go back to that day where I tore my ACL, and I would not do that because who knows? Who knows who I'd be?
In the 5th grade, you wouldn't even known I need therapy. I need physical therapy.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There's some shared responsibility, but ultimately, it comes from you
thinking I'm a fucking badass on this fucking scooter, beating my friend's brother who's 5 years younger than me on a scooter race.
You were awesome.
I'm so fucking cool.
Okay, all right. The rating for the day on this beer, I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 beer babies. It is a fantastic IPA. But the reason for the 4 is I didn't get the passion fruit. I didn't get the lychee.
Yes.
Lychee, whatever.
Lychee.
Yeah, I just, I think if those had been more present and I really got it, then great. But overall, the IPA is beautiful.
It's great. Yeah, I would agree. I think 4 out of 5 full-grown beer babies is going to work for me because I don't... I think that's true. The weird post-fermentation thing is it did feel like it had sediment in the bottom, but I didn't know if that was sediment or fruit. I mean, so I just drank all of it. I didn't even care. It's like, what? I mean, that never hurts you, but it's just one of those things that when you see the sediment, sometimes you kind of, I'm just going to leave a little bit at the bottom of the glass.
Right. Yeah.
So I drank it this time because I figured it's probably just fruit if it's post-fermentation. So that's a little strange, but it did change the flavor palette. Other than that, though, it's a fantastic beer. You could probably have this as almost like a breakfast brunch beer for people who are like, I like to drink beer, and it's brunch time, and instead of a mimosa, I could do something like this, and it would totally work. So instead of your classic grapefruit stuff, it would be a lot better.
Big time. Well, all right. Well, that does it for this episode. Until next time, I'm Cody.
I'm Micah.
This is the Beer Brothers. Bye.